What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and today we are going to be talking about FCF. If you have no clue what that is, I don't blame you, but it's fan-controlled football, and it's going to be starting up today. That's right. If you're watching this and it's February 13th, you'll get to watch the first two games on Twitch. They're happening tonight, and we'll see what happens. It's February 13th on the eve of Valentine's Day. To all of you out there, happy Valentine's Day. Hopefully you and your significant others enjoy it and have a great time. And listen, if you don't have somebody, not a big deal. Tell those people that you love them, that you love them. And that's pretty much about it on that. So let's get back into this fan-controlled football thing. So we've got 4 teams, and pretty much this is kind of the brainchild of a team that they took from the indoor football league, arena-style football, and that's what we're going to be getting in the fan-controlled football league. We're going to be getting arena-style football. Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Well, it just depends upon whether or not you like arena-style football. And that is kind of the whole crux of where they've got everything laid out. So it came from a team called the Screaming Eagles. It was a team that was in the indoor football league. And pretty much they let fans pick the plays. They, let fans and people have some control over some things, and they felt like it was a success so much that they pulled off from the league and decided that they were going to create their own league, and now it's coming to fruition. Now they have enough money, and so they're going to start that. It's 4 teams that they've got, and these teams are all comprised around these pseudo-celebrity owners. A lot of them are either athletes or athletes right now. They're kind of people that some of them you've heard of, some of them you haven't, that have invested in this and kind of are team owners, and that with it, and so they're going to be doing this kind of, I don't know, it's been hard to figure out exactly what all's going on, but there's a lot of customization based upon all of these things they figured out, this algorithm that they have based upon where your fan ID is, your owner ID is, based upon how much money you've given, that's how much pull you have and say in what happens in the league and especially with your team. What your team does, your drafting, what plays they pick, and things of that nature. And so it's kind of one of those things to where it's like, I'm looking at this more of as an entertainment factor, as opposed to not that football and sports are not entertainment, but the idea of it is the fun factor, as opposed to the getting down to the nitty and the gritty and looking at things and examining on how we can do things better. It's really more looking at things from an athletic feat type of a thing, and just sitting back and going, oh, did you see that play? That type of a thing. This is not something where you're going to be getting into a lot of the X's and the O's, the execution, how things work. It's just going to be like that guy made an athletic play, and so you're going to see that type of stuff. Now, is there strategy? Yes, there is strategy, and I'm not trying to take things away from what's going on in the league and the players, because they truly are good athletes, and there truly are people that are, definitely like world-class athletes. So there isn't anything like that with it for me. I just feel, and this is nothing against anybody, it just feels gimmicky to me. The teams, they're kind of cool. I think that some of their stuff is a little bit better than kind of what we had for the spring league. I do kind of like that kind of, little bit of a modern twist feel to it. But all in all, for me, it just feels a little bit gimmicky with all of the stuff. And that's kind of where I sit with it. I'll pay attention. I mean, it's going to be up free on Twitch, so I'll check it out and see what's going on with it. I mean, the games are only an hour, so I mean, the worst case scenario, if you watch both games, you only waste 2 hours of your time. So that's not really a big investment into it. I really don't know exactly how this whole draft thing works with them. Supposedly they're drafting different players or different position groups in each, because I guess like the defensive lines and the offensive lines are kind of lumped together in groups. And so it's kind of one of those things where I'm just like, okay, I don't get the whole each week drafting a different thing, because the whole point is to take, for me, for football, is to take your team and you kind of build upon things as you go, and you kind of figure things out and you build upon things. And if you didn't build a good team from the get-go, you're going to have a bad team in the end. And so this is kind of a way for them to kind of fix that as along the lines, but you get to keep, you get to keep players, and then, there are guys that you can't, and it's just, there's a lot happening with it, and I just kind of want to see the product on the field to kind of give my, really give my thoughts and my ideas on what exactly is happening with all of it. Now, as I look at this, it's got me intrigued. I like I said, this is more one of those things, looking at it from an entertainment standpoint. Is it going to keep my attention? This is not something that I'm going to be glued to the TV. I'll probably be watching it, sitting there, plinking around on my phone, doing other things with it. However, this is an opportunity for guys, like I said before, to go ahead and utilize their athletic ability, their athletic talent to really, give themselves a springboard to somewhere else. I don't like the fact that they eliminated the kicking game, and I know a lot of my fellow kicking fans out there of the kicking game, and all you kickers out there who do pay attention to my channel, shout out to all you guys. I am going to be missing, that aspect of the game. This to me feels really like a one-on-one basketball or a 3-on-3 kind of a basketball game. This does not feel, in respect to, the actual full 5-on-5 full court basketball. This to me is like almost like half court, 3-on-3, or, one-on-one type of stuff with it. That's kind of where I feel like with this, and that's kind of, the approach I'm taking with it. Again, it feels gimmicky. A lot of that has to do when you bring in guys like Johnny Manziel, and you're going to have him there. Johnny Manziel no longer is, in the football world, a kind of a respected commodity to have at quarterback. He is definitely a turn heads because of his name, because of everything that's happened around him. And so the whole point of that is to get eyes on your product. And so, like I said, he's kind of more of a gimmick at this point than he is actually like there for talent. And I'm not saying that the guy isn't talented. Again, these are a lot of very, very talented guys. But this is kind of looked at a little different. I mean, you're looking at it as opposed to strategy. It's, can this wide receiver beat this D-back? This DB. That's kind of where this lies. Can this offensive lineman stop this defensive lineman? A lot of one-on-one battle type of a stuff that, yes, you do get that in a regular football game, but there's more to it than that, to where, this inside trap game is not, going to be something like that. You are going to have some quarterback read stuff and things of that nature. So, like I said, it's more like 3-on-3 to 3-on-3 basketball than it is, anything else with it. So that's kind of where it sits with it. It's one of those things for me, though, that I lost a lot of interest when they said it was fan controlled. Why do I say that? Listen, I don't want you, and nothing against you. I think that, you guys are great. You guys are awesome. You come up with some great ideas. But the reality of it is I don't want you controlling my football team. It just goes back to the adage of the professionals know what they're doing. You tell the professional what you want, and you let them do it. That's how I want my football. I want the guys who know what they're doing to come in and and to do it, to execute it and to do that. I don't want some silly thing, especially when you've got these idiots who are just out there, oh, just Hail Mary, Hail Mary, Hail Mary, Hail Mary. And so what happens is you get a whole bunch of those guys, and then you're running, that's all you're doing, and there's no gameplay with it. Again, this is a different style. That would never work in regular football. Fan control football would never work in regular football. But because the arena style allows you some leniency with that, because you're doing more one-on-one stuff, and a lot of it's more, athleticism in that than it is, regular football strategy. And so it works better in this realm, but for me, it's not what I want. I want the professionals to do their thing. And so that's kind of how it sits. It does remind me of, so back when I didn't have in-ear monitors, you always had a floor wedge, a floor speaker that shot the sound back up to you. So you always had to have a sound guy running your monitor for you. You could hear back when you're singing and stuff. And singers notoriously, they tell you they want a good mix. They want to be able to hear everything, and that in their speaker. But what you find is that actually translates into, I want to hear a lot of me in there, which makes total sense, so that you can go ahead, you can have, you can make sure that you're on pitch, you can make sure that you're projecting well, you can hear yourself good. And so what it translates into is, I want a good mix. To me, ended up being, when I'm running sound, ended up being, okay, they want a lot of them in their monitor. But that's not what they're saying, and that's kind of what's happening here with that. I feel like if you let fans choose all this stuff, sometimes they choose things and they don't know that they don't want that. And, it goes to all sorts of things. Like, there are reasons why, you have designers, design things for you, because even though the colors, might look nice, they might be too wild for that space. And just that hint, as opposed to that full-on color, sometimes really does make things pop and make it look nice, to where sometimes it's best just to leave things to the professionals. And in this instance and sense, I would just rather see, the coach, the players, be the ones making the decision. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, coach can be like, well, I mean, we went out there, we played hard, but the playbook was terrible. And they can actually say that the playbook was terrible because they had fans picking it. Now, again, I don't really know exactly the extent of, how much the fans are going to have control in all this situation and what that's all going to turn out to be. Like I said, I'll kind of give more of my thoughts on that whole process once we get towards the, once we get through the first couple games and we can kind of figure the things that are going out with it. That's kind of my initial thoughts. Like I said, I haven't been sticking to it very closely just because I'm not really that interested kind of in this product. It really doesn't do a whole lot for me on that, kind of interest factor. I was like, okay, I'm not as interested in arena football as I am regular football, and then you turn that around again, I'm not as interested in fan control football as I am with actually letting professionals do their job. That's where I stand on it. I know I was long-winded in that with it, but just kind of giving my initial thoughts because I haven't done anything with this yet. Tune in. It'll be on later today on Twitch. You can look them up. I think it's fcfc.io. And you can check them out there and kind of get things. But later on tonight, that'll be happening. I'll definitely be checking it out on Twitch. If it keeps my interest, I'll keep watching, and I'll let you guys know coming up here soon what my thoughts are. All right, guys, I know that you're busy and I know that I'm busy, so let's get on out of here. You have a good night.